Hey Stitch Cutie, I'm Brittany with Stitches of Love Quilting, and can you believe it's already time for block 8 of our Boo Crew quilt? I know, I can't believe it either. So what you'll do, you'll have your pattern in your kit. You're going to set that aside. I've gone on and peeled the backing from all of my pre-fused laser cut applique pieces. There's a bunch of little pieces, so make sure you put it in a little bowl or something like that so you don't lose any of those little pieces of your skeleton. And then you have your fabric from the kit. We're going to iron that in just a second. So we're only going to need 3 thread colors for this month. Can you believe that? I know. So we have white, which is 1001. Again, these are all the sulky 40 weight rayon threads. Then we have black, 1005. And then we have the pink, which is 1307. Now, the setup that I have is just like every month. I have a cutting mat and a rotary cutter underneath, and then I have my Steady Betty with my steam fast travel iron right in front of my machine, so I'm ready to go. So I am going to first load the white thread onto my machine. I'm going to open the embroidery file for block 8, and I'm going to stitch that very first step, which is just one placement guideline for us. Okay, so that very first step is this one straight line towards the bottom center of your hoop. What I'm going to do is put my hoop on my Steady Betty, and I am going to turn my hoop sideways throughout the video just so I know it's supported on my Steady Betty. Now what we're going to do, we have our 2 pieces of fabric, and you don't have to do any kind of cutting to these. They're already cut to the size you need, and they are oversized from what we're going to trim the block down to. So what I'm going to do is line my fabric up centered, and I'm going to go just a hair past that little line, just like literally a hair past it. This is a placement guideline, just like every other month. It's going to, in a minute, do a 1/4 inch seam allowance for us. So the second piece I'll put down is the black fabric right on top of that. And now I just need to grab my tape. I forgot to mention that, but you probably already know, since it's month 8, that it's helpful to have some tape to hold your fabric in place. I am going to keep the white thread on my machine, and the machine is now going to give us that 1/4 inch seam allowance line. Then we'll be back to iron this black piece down and begin the process of our applique pieces. Okay, so you can see that your machine gave you your 1/4 inch seam allowance. Isn't that so nice that we make the block in the hoop? I love that. So now I'm just going to gently remove my tape, and we are going to press that down. Isn't that awesome? I love that it does this part for us in the hoop. And I'm just going to press that. Again, I'm on top of my Steady Betty, so I'm not distorting the contents of my hoop. And actually, I think this tape can be reused because it pulled off nicely. So I'm just going to make sure this is secured in my hoop and taped down nicely. Now again, still with that white thread, the machine is going to do a bunch of stitching in this next step. It's going to, of course, base this in place, which will also function as our trim line. And it's going to give us an applique outline for almost every piece. I think every piece except for maybe 5 or 6. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, every piece except for 6 pieces is going to be outlined right now. So it'll take a second for your machine to do all this for you. And then we'll be back to begin ironing on the applique pieces. Okay, take a look. Your machine stitched a lot of applique outlines for you. So before we start ironing everything, I want to point out 2 points that you need to pay attention to. The first is, see applique piece 1, 2, and 3. We're going to put all of those down right now. And we want to make sure that we start with piece 1, then 2, then 3. And then another point where we have some overlap is down by the cat and then the hip of our skeleton. And we want to make sure that we put down piece number 20, which is the skeleton legs, before we put down the cat face, which is piece 21. So let's proceed to putting all our pieces in place. So I'm going to start with the few that I mentioned that have a few overlaps. So we're going to put piece number 1, which is a little bitty purple square. We're going to put that in place first. And just like always, your pieces line right up. So let's just tap that into place. Now we're going to do our pumpkin. This is number 2. And then we'll put our skeleton face, which is right here underneath all my little pieces. There we go. How cute is this little guy? Those little teeth. Okay, so now iron that. And now let's do this other piece of overlap, because then from there it's going to be easy peasy, just a matter of putting all the pieces in place. So let's get his legs. And again, when you have a piece that's long, you want to get it all the way in place, and then I just start at one side and work my way up. So let's just start at the legs. There we go. And you can just take a look if you have anything where you want to like scooch it a little while it's still hot. You can reposition. It's better to use tweezers than the tip of your scissors, but it's just never seems to be that I have my tweezers back here ever. And now we're going to put the face of the cat, or as my husband would say, the kitten. We have a cat, and it's an outside cat now because she doesn't like our dog Buttons. So for the past 4 years, she's been an outside cat. But she's named Kitten now. It's really not her real name, but we have since, that's what she answers to. Even though she's like 11 or 12 years old, she's getting on up there for a kitten. And now we're just going to go through and put our pieces in place. So I'm just grabbing pieces and putting them in place. If you want to, because there are a lot of pieces on this one, to make it easy for yourself, you could use your applique placement guide and lay it out here so that you know you don't have to think about getting it in place over here. And I must apologize. You all throughout the video have already been seeing my nails and are like, oh my gosh, Brittany, what is happening? Well, the quarantine is what's happening. And so I just apologize immensely that you all have to look at my nails. I'm waiting on a nail kit to come in the mail where hopefully I can do some good and restore my nails. But right now they're just a mess. So I apologize that y'all have to look at that. So now we're going to get another little piece. His little hand. Speaking of Buttons, she's walking in. Hi, Buttons. Y'all can't see her on the camera, but she just came in to visit me. She says hi to everyone. Okay, so now we have this little piece, and I'm just grabbing in no particular order, because what I did is I started, of course, with making sure that I got the overlapped ones taken care of, and then nothing else overlaps. So it's just a matter of putting it in the right place. And so I believe that that is this. Yep. So if it's not a perfect fit, it means you don't have it. It's not the right bone for that spot. So that makes it easy to figure out. Yep, that's that. So far, I'm guessing pretty good, huh? Let's see. We have this little guy. They're hard to grab when you don't have the right kind of... My nails are just like falling apart. It's terrible. But I'm managing. If this is the worst that's going to happen during the quarantine, then I have nothing to complain about, right? And then, because we have all these really fun things to stitch together, so I think quilters have it better than anyone because we have so much we can do. And I know one of my friends and her mom, they are gardening, and all kinds of people have like really fun things they can do. I'm really jealous of my friends with pools, I must say right now. I really want a pool after this. There we go. A few more little pieces on my skeleton, and then we'll move on to the kitten. There we go. Boop. And this little piece. Isn't he fun? He's really starting to come to life. That's my favorite thing for every project as we start building the pieces onto the fabric with the hoop, how it all starts to come to life. So just wait till we see the little kitten come to life. That'll be fun. Boop. There we go. So there's where we're at so far. Let me show you what we have. That's looking fun, isn't it? So now let's do the little kitten. And let's see, we have the hearts. How sweet is that? The little hearts. And I'm going to lay down a few pieces at a time just because it does get hot from the iron. I'm kind of burning the ends of my fingers just from the fabric being hot. There we go. right in place. Boop. Now we have this long piece. And isn't this a fun fabric? It's a white on white print. And it has little, like a grid on it. I really like it. I think it's used somewhere else in this quilt as well, if I remember correctly. And these itty bitty pieces, oh my goodness. They are so little. So again, that's why it's helpful to have a little bowl. And actually you'll see I'm using, this actually isn't a bowl, it's a little lid to something. And it was nice and not very deep. So I liked using that. There we go. Put that one in place, and let's see if we can get this other long one lined up and iron it at the same time. I'm trying to go fast for you, but also you're stitching this right alongside me, right? So I don't really need to hurry because you're doing it too. And now we have just a few little pieces more. So let's see, we have this little guy, and then we have this guy. I'm just, again, picking up pieces and placing them. Sort of like this one's kind of like a little puzzle compared to normal, huh? Well, let's see, that one would be this little guy. Let's get him in. There we go. Let's tap those with the iron. And again, if you have one where you think you didn't quite get it, just while it's still hot, you can reposition it. There you go. Just a few more pieces. We're almost there, everybody. Yay! Alrighty. So I think this is the longer one. Oh, it stuck to my finger. There we go. And then I am gonna go on and tap that one because I don't wanna miss it. Boop. And now this little guy. And then one more piece. And then we're gonna be ready. Ooh, I grabbed the wrong piece. Now we are gonna be ready to put this back on our hoop. How fun is that? I'm loving it, aren't you? Oh, we almost forgot the main piece at the bottom. That would have been funny, wouldn't it? I did all the little pieces and then almost forgot this big guy. So again, with the long piece, I just start at one end and work my way over. And let's just take a glance and make sure I didn't miss anything. And it's looking like we have a cat and a skeleton. Perfect. So we're gonna leave the white thread on again for another 2 more steps actually. So the machine is now gonna give us an outline for the eyes, for his the black parts on his hip, and then the face of our kitten. Okay, so you can see we have the eyes, the hip, and then the face on our kitten ready to be ironed on. So again, I'm gonna turn it sideways so it's on my Steady Betty. Get my little tray out, and we are gonna put our pieces in place again. So we're just gonna do the left eye and the right eye, and then I'll press those in place. Oh, look at him, he's got a face. Now let's give him some hip bones. And just put the right one in place. And then the left. There we go. And now we have 2 pieces on the face of our cat. So we have the black on top, which eventually I believe has buttons. I can look at the picture, but again, we don't put the buttons on until the very end. And then we have this little bitty triangle. Goodness, y'all, I'm so sorry about my nails in the video. Yikes. Y'all will forgive me, I know, for bad nails. We've all had a bad nail day, right? And actually, some of us are gonna have bad hair days from trying to cut each other's hair too. Okay, let's take a look. So everything is officially ironed on. Look at that, so fun. Okay, so we're gonna leave the white thread on again for one more step, and that's gonna be a bunch of stitching by your machine because it's going to do the buttonhole on all of the white pieces. And then we'll come back for 2 color changes after that, which will just be black and pink. So now all of our white is stitched. Doesn't it look so good? I'm loving it. Now it's time to put on the black, which is 1005, again, a sulky 40 weight. And the machine is going to do the purple stem. Yes, it's stitching that in black. We're matching to how Julie stitched. Then it's going to do the accent lines on our pumpkin and the buttonhole stitch around the pumpkin. It's going to do the buttonhole on our 2 eyes, the 2 hip bones, the little part on the kitten's face, and then the bottom gingham. And then we'll be back for our next color change. And now look, our little kitten's face came to life with the black stitching. I love it. And then we have the black on the pumpkin. Everything looks fantastic. So now we're on our final color change, which is 1307, the pink. And the machine just has 2 quick little things to stitch for us, which we have the heart and then the little nose on the cat. Okay, so everything is done stitching. Let's take a close-up look. Oh my goodness, I just love it. I have so much fun with the machine embroidery with this. So I hope you're having as much fun as me. It's my favorite part of my job is to play with the machine embroidery. Okay, so now I'm gonna put my hoop out of the way and I'm going to lay my project down in front of me. You can see that I've taken my Steady Bitty away and now I just have my cutting mat. I'm gonna get my ruler and we're gonna simply trim just a hair inside of, look, I have tape on this, just a hair inside of our stitched line, and that's going to give us the absolute perfect block for our quilt. And after that, we just will wait patiently for block 9, because I already want to make it, I can't remember, oh, I think 9 might be the witch with her, she's upside down, her little shoes are coming out of the little kettle. I think that's block 9, I might be wrong. But oh my gosh, it's so cute. And then after that, we have the mummy. And then what comes next? I can't remember. And then, so we have just 4 more outer blocks to do. And then that final month, month 13, we do all that center, the haunted house, which is gonna be a bunch of fun too. All right, one more cut. Oh, I love it. It really does look so good once you trim it all. I love it. There we go. Make sure I'm nice and straight. Boom. Take a look. Get little stray hairs, little stray threads out of the way. Oh my goodness, look at that. So cute. So everyone, I hope you had so much fun with me making the block 8 of our bucru. Again, thanks for dealing with my nails in the video. And keep this in a safe place. Remember, we put the buttons on at the end, and look forward to next month, which will be block 9. Happy stitching!